19 de dezembro de 1961, Goa deixou de ser uma colónia portuguesa, uma província ultramarina portuguesa, para ser território da União Indiana. Foi uma revolução pacífica, se pode dizer assim. Eu atrevo-me a compará-la ao que foi o nosso 25 de Abril, porque foi uma batalha que durou 24 horas e onde não houve derramamento de sangue. Houve a lamentar a perca de 2 vidas, ou 3, conforme os relatos, mas não é uma operação violenta. E daí eu compará-la ao 25 de Abril. Essa batalha, no entanto, teve um processo de crescimento, um processo de libertação que durou 15 anos. Sobre esses 15 anos, nós debruçámos no episódio anterior. Quem quiser procurar online deve estar a passar aqui o endereço, onde está na net o episódio que passou há 15 dias. Neste episódio do Contacto Goa vamos olhar sobre o que foi o dia 18, o que foi o dia da Revolução, o que se passou nesse dia, nessa batalha quase desleal entre um enorme exército indiano e uma pequena força do exército português.
Of course, all the things were prepared because the Portuguese, did not realize. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had always told them, look here, non-violence is our creed. It is not our policy. We believe in non-violence. But if we have to fight, we will fight. We will fight. And it will be just one step, not many steps. And when it comes, it will come. That is what Prime Minister Nehru had always told Salazar. Don't take chances. What they did was, they fired on a ship at Anjadeep, trying to show their strength. Now you cannot, the might of India versus Portugal in Goa. It was what you may say, farcical, just farcical.
Diz que isto foi provocado. Havia os barcos indianos que vinham a Goa. E eles, parece que um barco civis, houve um tipo dali que deu um tiro, abriram fogo ao posto nesta ilhota. E contactaram a Goa, estão a abrir fogo aí, alguém disse, responda. Aquilo é que foi, isso é era uma armadilha pelo governo indiano, eu não sei. Quando abriram fogo, mataram um passageiro. Eles disseram, não sei se é verdade, que a escusa foi aquele invasivo, foi aquilo.
So when they hit a ship at Anjadiva, naturally India could not tolerate it. It was a matter of international aggression. So India decided now the time has come and we cannot tolerate it anymore. So they sent out a message to them that now the end has come. We can tolerate you on our soil no more. You decide to go, you surrender and all will be well. But they did not. We sent them out a message. We sent out a message through our radio saying that now the time has come, you either surrender or you fail.
Quando sobrevoávamos para Karachi, nós começamos a ver um adensamento de material bélico nas fronteiras. E simultaneamente começamos a ver o adensamento de material naval bélico também, fora do nosso, digamos, das águas territoriais, se quiser chamar assim, mas instalados tipo cerco a Goa. Nós já tínhamos tido essa experiência, não da parte naval, mas da parte bélica terrestre, digamos assim, de infantaria, nos anos anteriores, porque eles tinham uma altura em que até se chamavam os satyagrahas, que tinham tropas na coisa, não entravam, ficavam só aí tipo ameaça. E nós ficávamos todos de prevenção aqui, etc. A prevenção normalmente era feita na base de toda a gente, está de prevenção, mas estava tudo a beber as cervejas e não sei o quê, porque realmente aquilo passou a ser um hábito. E quando foi dessa vez, não se queria acreditar que era a sério.
American ambassador Galbraith, yes, he was trying to meet and persuade on this, that I will bring the Portugal in the table for discussion, now postpone the action and something like that. So that time, I mean, Nehru and defense minister played tactics. I said, okay, I will call my defense minister and tell him. So defense minister took deliberate time by about 2 hours or so to come to meet Prime Minister. So Prime Minister told him, well, this is the thing, and they say, so can we hold it? He said, it is too late. My boys are already in Goa. In fact, they are on the border, but this is the thing. And so the order came on, 17th December. In fact, little earlier, but that was, pending. Wait for the orders and kind of, and everybody was, this, what is this? Called us so much and this. And so, on 17th night itself, the action had begun.
Quando chegou ao dia D, as pessoas estavam cá e não acreditavam que isso pudesse vir a acontecer. Só que a imensidão do poder bélico não justificava um outro satyagraha. Aquilo era indício de qualquer coisa mais séria. E pronto, em função disto, depois até fomos nós que transmitimos. Foram porque os pilotos da TAIP eram da TAP e da Força Aérea. E, portanto, foi através dessas informações também que se confirmou que ia haver definitivamente uma entrada indiana em Goa.
And we moved out from the border into the hinterland. And from there we were broadcasting every hour to tell the Portuguese and the people of Goa not to fear, because now the army is marching. The army had already decided to march, and the army was already on the march. So we told them, now there's no more going back. You decide what you have to do. But the Governor General did not reply to that message, and immediately the bombing of the Goa, first thing was the Goa radio was bombed, so that they had no voice left, and then the receiving center, the port, etc. was bombed, the airport was bombed, and then that started.
Se eles quisessem, tinham dizimado, pura e simplesmente. Não tinham necessidade de ter muito trabalho, tinham dizimado. Não, senhor, até se davam ao luxo de fazer voos rasantes e de acenarem com lenços brancos. Às tropas, claro, o que os desmoralizava extremamente, não é?
The army, Indian side was attacking, no? And these were only defending. And our estimation was that Portuguese will give fight, taking the advantage of physical situation here, rivers and these, and after blowing the bridges, they could slow down us and this thing. So we had estimated it will take at least 3 days.
Foi o exército de quase 60 mil soldados a avançarem contra um governo que não tinha absolutamente força cá. 2.500 soldados, e estes também mal equipados, sem nenhuma arma moderna, com armas de guerra de 1918, era realmente impossível haver uma luta.
Contaram um oficial do exército indiano que os portugueses eram não estavam com tanta vontade, que eles tinham cercado os portugueses, e estava lá o sargento e a tropa a beber uma cerveja com sardinhas, a comer sardinhas. Pagavam das latas, já tiravam, caíam nos capacetes das tropas indianas. É que tinham uma vontade, que não eram, é que eu disse, é que não eram tropas profissionais, tudo era miliciano.
The Portuguese were not prepared for the Indian Army. Indian Army is one of the strongest in the world. So what was it before the few soldiers that were here in this? They had neither morale nor what you may say weapons or anything of that sort. They were not prepared at all. Anyway, it was a walkover for the Indian Army. They just walked over. Everywhere they surrendered. All that they did was broke down the bridges, demolished the bridges. They could do nothing. They wanted to set fire to Goa. They wanted to raze it down completely. That is the message that came from Salazar.
The explicit orders from Salazar were to destroy everything and this thing. And it was his strategy, the Salazar strategy, that this will deter the Indian army, because we would not be able, what they will get, and everything in ruins. So that much we were not probably prepared to pay this. So this is what they did to deter this. Because when all efforts failed from American side and all that, they gave this order. They were already mined, all bridges and this, even some of the buildings.
Isto eu vi com meus olhos. Os caminhões que tinham sido postos ali onde está aquela academia. Se o assalto o vice destruía todo o Panjim, o dinamite que estava lá.
Eles punham dinamite para arrebentar uma ponte e não arrebentava. Porque o dinamite era de 30 anos atrás. Bem, e sabe qual é o índice da unidade de Goa? O meu de Goa é quase 90% durante a moção e 70% durante o tempo seco que nós chamamos. Este é o período mais seco de Goa. E, todavia, temos 60% de unidade. Portanto, como é que se podia esperar que o Vassalo Silva pudesse lutar? Não havia outra solução, ou morrerem todos, ou era uma estupidez para morrerem todos, fazer um sacrifício desnecessário.
Muito sangue, felizmente, não correu. Isto deve-se ao último governador de Goa, que foi o Vassalo Silva, que preferiu o rendimento a ver morrer gente. E isso em prejuízo da sua pessoa.
E do seu prestígio.
Do seu prestígio. Ele sacrificou o seu nome, a sua honra, em prol das coisas. Isso não se pode deixar de dizer.
A group of people from Panjim, Goans, a delegation of Goans from Panjim, headed by a High Court judge who was a Goan, a Portuguese High Court judge, went to meet the Governor General when the invasion was about to start. And they pleaded with him not to follow through with the fighting and with the orders of the Portuguese President Salazar. Because in that case, the Indian army, they said, would bomb, or the Portuguese, in the resultant fire, crossfire, Goa would be destroyed. Panjim would be destroyed, Mormugao would be destroyed, the port, the Vasco da Gama would be destroyed. So they pleaded with him to avoid loss of life of Goans and destruction of property, not to fight, to surrender Goa. And it is believed that this meeting had a bearing on General Vassalo Silva's decision to surrender to the Indian troops.
Vassalo da Silva, many Goans recall, I don't remember because I was a kid when Goa was liberated, but Vassalo da Silva, many people respect him because he did not agree to the direction of the High Command to destroy or detonate many of the bridges and places in Goa which they had planted. They had assumed that Indian army will take over Goa, so there were a lot of explosives which were planted across Goa. He refused to blow them up. He refused to give order where there would have been damage to the state.
While the orders from the Portuguese president via radio to General Vassalo Silva was to fight till his last drop of blood and to make Goa completely unusable, scorched earth policy, to destroy Goa if the Indians are going to take it over, because he wanted to then use that to influence the world community to condemn the Indian invasion. A ship was docked in the harbour. Apparently orders came from Portugal that the ship should not be boarded. But General Vassalo Silva authorized the boarding. He allowed all the families of the Europeans living here and even Portuguese, some Portuguese families to go on the ship. The capacity of the ship was 380 or something like that, and there were 700 plus people packed into the ship. They say even the toilets were packed with people, and that ship left Goa, got out of Goa just before the invasion.